Okay, it's connected. My lighting is so shitty. Try to mess with my lighting. It always looks glary. All right, we are live. Thought we'd start with something a little new tonight. What do you think? Uh-huh. That's right. You're with Movie Killers Podcast, Thursday night, 8:30. Thought I'd bring a little hip vibe to the show tonight with, get on up. That's right, baby. Thursday night. Tonight we were talking about Henry Cavill, even though we were showcasing Mr. Tobey Maguire doing his Spider-Man dance. The only thing would be cooler is if he came out in a black suit to show us just how much he cared. Oh, sorry. I think that's hilarious. And it gives us a minute to get started live. All right, he's going to walk off, and then we're going to bring in what really gets me going. So here we are, Thursday night. Henry Cavill is our topic. We'll also do a little bit of a Chuck Norris tribute. As normal, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Still working. Get started on TikTok. We are just out there. And this is John from KCCast.com. I got Mark with me. We are ready to go. All right, let's go.
Your Tobey Maguire clip, I don't know. I can't. I could never get into that for whatever reason. I know why. He's too dorky.
You're too serious. Why so serious? You're too serious. You gotta chill out.
I mean, there's other dorky people that have done like try to act, like pull off a stunt like that. He just doesn't pull it off.
Are you
You know?
insane? He
You know?
pulls it
I
off
th-
better than it. You know
I
who can pull that
think
off better? Not Tom Holland.
yeah, Tom Holland.
Not Tom
100%
Holland.
Tom Holland, man.
Not Channing Tatum. Not Ben Affleck. Maybe Brad Pitt because he could do anything. That guy. But that's probably about it. Man, this
Yeah,
hoodie
that's
sweatshirt
a
looks
reach.
getting a little warm. I might have to next week, ladies, if you're interested and you're listening. I might have to get rid of the hoodie and go with something that's a little bit more cool,
Revealing?
revealing. I don't
Oh,
know.
I thought you were. I didn't know where you were going with that
Not that
comment.
kind of show, Mark. Come on. With your
Yeah, I
T-bill.
know.
Not that kind of show. All right, so we are gonna roll into our Henry Cavill theme. But before we do that, and guys, you got to watch like Spotify, YouTube. When I post the videos, you got to watch the videos because of the clips. And I know you're not going to appreciate what we're showing, but we were talking about it earlier, so we're going to do a little bit with Chuck Norris. But unfortunately, when we talk about Chuck Norris and we show clips, it's no different than if you're not watching, that's all you're going to hear for a good minute and a half. But you all know that Chuck Norris is the guy, and we were all very sad to see him go. Pulled up a little bit of filmography on Mr. Norris. Did his first movie, 1968, called The Bodyguard, with Mr. Dean Martin was the main character in that show, which I watched a couple clips I thought was super cool. And they did his last movie in 2024 called Agent Recon. So this guy worked right up until, basically 2 years ago. 86 years old, just pumping it out, Dodgeball, Expendables, Sidekicks, The Hitman, Delta Force. I mean, God, this Invasion USA, Missing in Action, Lone Wolf McQuade. And the beauty of his clips, and Mark and I were watching this a little bit earlier, is these 70 trailers are just great. So you got a little racism thrown in there, you got a little sexism thrown there. In the middle of all of it, you got Chuck Norris just beating some poor guy half to death. So it's they don't do that anymore. You can't
But
get
when
away
you
with
say,
that.
I, but when you say great of these trailers,
Yeah.
they just look so. I mean, it looks like a school play compared to the trailers that are out today. it really looks, I mean, very, like, nostalgic and all that stuff. I mean, it was definitely cool back then because that's right, there was nothing else to compare it to. And then you mentioned earlier when we were talking about it, like, the voice behind it, like, I just think of James Earl Jones, right? For a lot of these trailers, that deep voice, and then, you're just compelled to watch it because you got the narration going on with the trailer. So,
Yeah, I love it. And today we call that realism. That's what life is really like. It's like a high
is that what
school
we call it?
yeah, growing up is like
Yeah.
a high school play. It's not like Channing Tatum meeting Mila Kunis when he's half dog running through saying "woof," right? Like that's or you got Chuck Norris. Guys, you gotta watch this trailer. I'm gonna show this trailer before we go into the epic fight scene between Bruce Lee, which lasts way too long, but Bruce Lee rips out Chuck Norris' chest hair. Like, you can't get away with that in 2000.
He sure did. I wonder if that was real. I mean, it looked real.
I don't know. We could ask Gemini. Gemini will know. Gemini knows everything. Did he
Yeah.
really rip out his chest hair? It's like the 8 ball. It is decidedly so. All right, let's watch this trailer. And you guys, I got to point something out that I pointed out to Mark earlier that I'm totally jealous over. So let's get through this.
Columbia Pictures presents Chuck Norris.
Hot damn fighters! You call the police?
Not me, boss.
Nobody call the police. You must be a mirage.
The master fighter of our time.
This ain't like the high school play I ever saw.
But not even he could imagine the power of the indestructible man he is about to face. A creation of science whose only thought is to survive.
Texas Radio.
The unstoppable terror of silent rage. Now,
no
Chuck
special
Norris
effects.
must destroy him.
Dan, watch out!
In a final battle to the death and beyond. Silent rage.
Beat him with my giant buckle. Guys, if you watch it again, you'll be fascinated by his giant belt buckle. It's so hard to kick ass with a buckle that big. Take it from me. I know. It gets in the way every time you try to do that big roundhouse. So
Yeah.
that's just me.
I'm sure it's happened to you.
It has, gets in the way.
Yeah.
But the funniest part of all of that is the indestructible man. They don't have to come up with anything original. They have to come up with anything crazy. 40 years later, you got to come up with other words other than indestructible man. Like you got to go to the thesaurus. Is that what it's called?
Thesaurus, yes.
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 Thank you. You have to go to that. In 1975, you have to go to anything. Nobody ever heard of it before. The indestructible man. You put him in the MRI machine. That's as big a special effects as you need. You take him up to the local hospital. Guys, we need to rent your MRI machine for a couple hours. Shoot the shot. Cost you $50-$60 to tip the tech. Right? It's the greatest movie making ever. We
You know
could
what
do
I
that.
would love to know? What was that budget like back then? That
It
probably
was
was
like
like $3
$400,
grand.
$400, right? They got to buy the bikers. They got to buy the bikers around the beers and say, we're going to bust you up for half an hour. Drag you on the truck, put the guy in his scrubs and say, you are the indestructible man. Gun with a couple blanks. There's nothing. Chuck
Yeah.
Norris kicking ass. I don't know. They don't make it like that anymore.
No, thank God.
Yeah.
It was rough. But I haven't watched a ton of Chuck Norris flicks. I mean, I watched a ton of Bruce Lee flicks, but Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee in what was the name of the movie? It wasn't
Return
Enter
of
the
the-
Dragon. It
Return
was,
of the Dragon.
See,
Yeah, you were right. You
I was
nailed
r-
it.
Yeah.
So the
So
funny
this
part
scene
is,
that I think John is going to play.
so let me
Uh-huh.
tell you this before we go to that. So Chuck was
Yeah.
born in
Uh-huh.
Ryan, Oklahoma, 1940. Take a guess at what his original birth name was. You'll never guess this in a million years.
Actually, I did read it last week when he died. I completely forgot.
Carlos. Carlos Ray
Yes.
Norris. And he went by Chuck because when he was in the Air Force in South Korea, he didn't want to be known as Carlos. So he acquired the nickname
hmm
Chuck. But he was a policeman in the Air Force, South Korea in the 50s. You got to be tough to do that. Like that's no
Oh my
nonsense.
God, hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he doesn't
all right.
look like a Carlos.
No, he does not at all. I would have never guessed that.
Yeah,
He looks like a
yeah,
Chuck.
it's a good thing he 100% looks like. I don't think any other person in history named Chuck looks more like a Chuck than Chuck Norris. I mean, his name is so fitting for his whole persona.
Yep.
Good old Chuckster.
All right, so you want to play your fight scene, guys? I got to warn you, the fight scene is long. I'm going to skip through. If I play
Yeah.
this start to finish, it's literally 6 minutes of
It's gonna be half our podcast.
yeah. It's Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris just beating on each other for 6 minutes. Here we go. Let's get this going. Look at all that hair. Oh,
Yeah.
film this. This is a $40. You got to buy him lunch. That's your full budget. Oh,
Yeah.
huh.
Look at the pan
take that,
like,
Bruce.
to and from.
Yeah, one camera. Maybe
So
two.
so basically for anybody born say after 2000
There it
and
is.
has never seen this. This was what? Watch this. Watch this. Yeah. You know, this was considered the most iconic martial arts fight scene in like movie cinema history for a long time. Like this was like the best scene considered by many. Like when I first saw this, I was like, this is real, man. This looks so real.
Yeah, Saturday morning. They played this all the time. Saturday morning, you get up, you watch cartoons, you watch Abbott and Costello, and then they show some crazy kung fu theater.
Kung Fu Theater.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Flying Guillotine, Five Deadly Venoms, Bruce. And when Bruce was on, it was like a special day. It was like the special guest stars on Scooby Doo, right? It was a big day if they showed Bruce.
Oh yeah, because he was a movie star.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very long scene.
Yeah.
But I think people get it. This was iconic. Iconic because without getting too much into it, like in real life, these guys were like the biggest, martial artists on the planet, and to get them on the screen together was pretty epic back then.
And did you notice the symbolism of the cat playing with the ball? It's Bruce just toying with Chuck. Just toying with Chuck like
Yeah.
a cat playing with a ball of yarn.
Yeah. So, according to Bruce Lee, he would train, obviously, and then when he met Chuck Norris for the first time, I think one of the things he said he was so impressed with was his footwork and his kicks. So a lot of his kick training was adopted from, how Chuck used to train, with his leg kicks. So I thought that was pretty cool. So you don't get this on any other podcast. You're not going to learn this stuff.
Yeah, nobody's gonna sit with a 6-minute commentary of Bruce Lee kicking Chuck Norris's ass. All right, we're gonna wrap this up with one more kick. No, that's too bad. All right. That was a good kick right there. All right, let's wrap that. I think in
Yeah.
the end of the day, we all know who wins. Kareem. Kareem comes in and puts a big footprint right on Bruce's chest. That was Enter the
That was
Dragon.
Game of Death.
Enter the Dragon.
Oh,
But he's
that
got
was
his
Game
yellow,
of Death.
jumpsuit. Enter the
It's
Dragon.
yellow jumpsuit, the same thing that what's her name wore? Yeah, Game of Death.
Uma?
Uma Thurman. Yeah.
Yeah.
The yellow jumpsuit.
All right, let's look that up. Which Bruce movie had Kareem?
If you want to wager, I'll wager. It was Game of Death
You
all
mother.
day, every day,
Yeah, Game of Death. You're right.
dude.
All right.
Yeah, so that was our shout out to the Chuckster. Awesome guy in like real life too. I heard he was like, just awesome with his fans, his family, all that stuff. So rest in peace, Mr. Norris. Carlos.
Yeah,
Carlos. He just
Carlos.
Like a Carlos.
Yeah. Something everybody learned tonight. Chuck Norris, Carlos. I guarantee you none of our listeners knew that. We just don't have that type of population going. But
Yeah.
ladies,
I
unfortunately,
would
when you
say
see me with the
impossible.
shirt, I don't have hair like that on my chest. Just want to throw that out there. You'll be sadly disappointed if you're expecting that. All right, let's roll into Henry Cavill. Another big disappointment, kind of like Chuck getting his ass kicked, but he has some great scenes, highly controversial. He's another one that Mark was on the fence about when we started talking about Tom Holland. Mark's like, forget it. The guy's not a movie killer. An hour, 8 minutes later, he was sold. But now,
You know what it was? It wasn't. I think I was in denial in terms of looking at the ROI because these are some of my favorite actors out there today. Like Tom Holland, he's just like very, very likable person in real life too. And then Henry Cavill, like, dude, I'm a huge fan of Henry Cavill. I think when I first his first film, I didn't even know it was Henry Cavill. One of the, I was looking at the his basically his stat sheet, but Immortals, that was like, and that was like one of the movies I went to go see. I had no idea that was Henry Cavill until years later. I mean, my first, in my head, I thought the first time I saw him was in Man of Steel, which was, many years later, but it was actually Immortals was the first time.
And what's crazy is Man of Steel is probably his biggest ROI, right? Like it's probably the movie that he was in that made the most money for him. But what do we say? We're not in the we really like you business. We're in the ROI business. So Henry Cavill, I love you. Like, I love The Witcher. Like I was glued to The Witcher every time it was on, but man, his movies just don't ROI. They don't make money, and we got data to back it up, and we can prove it. So as we run through, I mean, Mark mentioned Immortals. I mean, Immortals, and we, guys, we go back to the 2.5 return. Like Immortals was $75 million budget, and it came in at 226. So from a return perspective, Immortals was up there. And then you got Man of Steel, which is right alongside it. But the two of them are his biggest movies, but they're pretty ensemble cast, and then you got Zack Snyder, who's running Man of Steel, which everybody goes to see a Zack Snyder movie, but you got DC just dragging it down. Like DC just can't keep up. So I got a clip on that if you want to see, which I thought was entertaining.
Yeah.
This is where Henry Cavill should have ended up. All right, you ready? It's a very clip heavy show tonight, folks. I'm just telling you, it's a very clip heavy show.
Now we're talking. Oh, yeah. That's the whole goddamn package right there. From behind, you look a little bit like Henry. Oh, my fuck! The Cavalrine. The legends are true. And may I say, sir, on behalf of all humanity, this just feels right. We will treat you so much better than those shit fucks down the street. You were just leaving. No, sir. Not while the fate of my universe is at...
That's great, right? I love that.
That was great. Yeah.
Wouldn't he be a great Wolverine?
I think he would play anybody great, but when we go to the when we go to the data sheet, the budget and the ROI sheet, you're like, holy hell. Because you look at this guy, you're like, dude, this guy is a great actor, right? I mean, he very believable in the characters that he plays, but just going just off the top, Man of Steel came out in 2013. Probably a ton of people have watched this. Had a big budget of 225 and it grossed 668. People say, "Well, shit, man, that's a lot of money. 668 is a lot of money." But when you talk about the budget, and we always have to factor in the 2x when you include a lot of, it was a ton of marketing because this was basically he was like one, two, three. I think he was the fourth Superman. Um,
Yeah.
Christopher Reeve was really the original, but there was a guy before him. I forget his name, but Christopher Reeve, right? Like really put Superman like mainstream, right? He was like the first Superman. Then the second guy, man, I forget his name now.
But you're talking
But
about first
I
Superman
don't think
in
he
the
was.
movies, right? Like he was the first in the movies.
Yes,
Like,
I'm just. Yes. So Man of Steel came out in 2013. My point is that was Henry Cavill's first Superman film,
Yeah.
budget at 225, gross 668. But if you factor in the marketing dollars, I mean, this thing is at 400K, right? Or more.
Yeah.
If we stick to the 2.5x model, I mean, this is closer to 475, 500K, and it made 668. And our point is in the show is like, yeah, it made money in terms of gross dollars, but in terms of net dollars, it didn't really the margins weren't as lofty as what they were, anticipated to be. And I think that's what kind of our premise of the show is like this guy's great, man. Like you stick him in anything, he'll act a part. Um, you think it's going to be a very successful movie, like a windfall of dollars, and it really comes up short. And it's sad because this guy, I root for this guy, in Witcher, right? You talked about that. He kills it.
Yeah.
Absolutely
That's right.
kills it.
Well, it's funny when you
And
talk
that
about
just
it, so
doesn't carry over.
it doesn't carry over. And they talk about how he went into these movies and I'm trying to figure out the right way to word this. So they talk about the fact that he is such a draw when it comes to his appearance, but when he goes into these scenes in these movies, it's almost like Henry Cavill um stagnation, right? And that's not the word I want to use, but I'll explain it and you'll get the idea.
Hmm.
He's the same actor in every movie he does. So when you see the same guy doing the same thing, like he's the action hero. Now, don't get me wrong, like Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Willis, like these guys all did
Right.
it as the action heroes, right? But when he goes in, and they talk about this a lot with Argyle. So when you watch the trailers for Argyle and you're like, oh my God, Henry Cavill, he's going to be the lead. He's going to be the super spy. He's going to do all this stuff. And then you go in and you watch Argyle. And I saw the movie in the theater. I think you saw it too. He has such a minor role in
Loved
the
it.
movie, right? But he's only in it. It's
Yeah.
almost like the Kristen Stewart Snow White thing. Like he only has like 10 minutes in the whole movie, even though it seems like he's more because he's just a fictional character in the movie if you haven't seen it. But they call it like the bait and switch. So then you go in and you're like, all right, we're going to see him in something different. Oh, he's only in it 10 minutes. Then you come back and you're like, all
Yeah.
right, The Witcher, he's The Witcher. Highlander, he's going to be the same character in Witcher that he's going to be in Highlander that he's coming through. And it's almost like the heist movies. There's been 4,000 heist movies. Well, you got Henry Cavill as the good looking, tough guy, going to get in a fight, going to make a few witty jokes, good looking, shows up on stage, leaves. So he's basically Superman or The Witcher in every movie that he's in. So he has no range. So if you're not willing
Yeah.
to go,
Yeah.
and his
He's the
fans don't spend money. So go ahead. I'm sorry. I kept
yeah.
interrupting.
He's like that macho element in most of these movies. But sticking to that theme of ROI, you mentioned Argyle, and this blew my mind because I saw the movie, I enjoyed it. It came out in 2024. can't remember who directed it, but the budget for that movie was 200 million, and it grossed only 96. So by all intents and purposes, that was a flop.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that I thought it was going to break even, but you look at that, this was a heavy, heavy loss
Yeah.
um,
Matthew Vaughn.
for that
Matthew Vaughn
production.
was the director. I haven't seen anything
Yeah,
else he's done. Oh, he did Stardust, which was another movie that Henry Cavill was in, but I'm
yeah.
not sure what else he's done.
Another movie that came out in the same year, 2024, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I
Mhm.
thought that was hilarious. Budget 60 million. This shocked the hell out of me. Gross 27 million. Like, that is almost like if somebody, I would have put money that that was going to at least break even. And I don't know what was going on in 2024. I don't know if it was just the timing, the release, and all of that stuff. Maybe they were Henry Cavill, saturated. But for a budget of 60 million, and Alan Richmond was in that. The
Yeah.
guy plays Reacher.
Yep.
There was a couple other guys in that too. But I'm like, you got these two very macho guys that have fanfare, and they only brought in 27 million. Like, that was a shocker to me. It was a little.
You know who else was
Actually,
in that
more disappointed than shocked.
from your other favorite movie?
Uh-huh.
Carrie Elves, Princess Bride guy. Dread
Oh, yeah.
Pirate Roberts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to your point,
Yes.
it was a star-studded cast, right? Like there was a ton of people in there that was it was really good. The other thing that I thought was interesting is there's an actor in there named Freddie Fox, but it was kind of like an undertone of the entire movie. But Ian Fleming is a character in the show, in the movie, who was like, if you don't know, he's the author of James Bond. So I thought it was cool that with Winston Churchill and all these other guys that they put in there, they threw Ian Fleming in there, who was he was a big spy for Great Britain during, I think, World War II, when all this was going on. But I thought it was cool that they included him in that. But to your point,
Yeah,
I enjoyed the
100%.
movie. It just didn't make any money, which goes back to willing to pay, right? When we talk about the Mendoza scale, and we've hit on this a little bit, you have these actors whose fans are just not willing to pay money. So they go back and they watch it while it's streaming. And he does great in streaming. He crushes records all over the place in streaming. But his fans are just not willing to pay, which is why he doesn't do well in the box office. I'm arguing with one of the guys online right now about the fact that he thinks Highlander is going to break all these records and do all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, you're insane. Like, I'll take that bet. There's no way Highlander is going to come out and make any money. There's only one
Yeah.
Highlander. There can
I
be
would
only
take-
one.
right.
Christopher Lambert. He's it. Not Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Take that, bitch. I'll take that bet all day.
But in terms of ROI, right? Like in terms of ROI, the movie that he was a part of, and it was a franchise, Mission Impossible Fallout. This, ladies and gents, is really the only movie that made a ton of money, but he wasn't the lead, right? I mean, it's Tom Cruise's franchise. He played a big role in that, that one installment. But just by the numbers, came out in 2018. The budget was 178 and it grossed 791. So this was technically his largest ROI film, but he wasn't the lead, right? I mean, and Mission Impossible has like legions of followers and fans, so that's always going to make money. It's a franchise, and it's a very successful one. So you take that out, and people will say, "Well, what about Justice League? What about the other Supermans?" They were solid, but they were not explosive. And if you compare like the Marvel series or the Marvel movies versus the DC movies, Marvel, by a lot, they beat DC like all day, every day when if they're going head to head. So, but again, I mean, solid returns, strong grosses, but underperformed in terms of expectations. And Justice League, widely considered as a financial disappointment, like in total, which is sad,
Absolutely.
right? Because like growing up, right? Like Superman, Marvel they just got there first, and they just had better storylines, better character development, and their blueprint I think he talked about this at one point where the guy was going to go bankrupt. You know, the guy that owned Marvel, and he was like, you know what? Instead of going bankrupt, we're going to just make our own films. Took a risk, and next thing you know, Marvel is making $1 billion. You know, for some of these movies. But Justice League, big budget, 300 million, did 657 gross.
Yeah, and look at the cast on that. You got Jason Momoa, Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck, Ezra Miller as the Flash, right? Like, and then you got
Yeah.
Henry Cavill rolling in, Amy Adams, Diane Lane. Like, what a crazy cast going on that thing. And to your point, like, it didn't even break even. $300 million budget made like 600 million, which you take that same type of cast and you put it in Marvel, and you're at like 1.5 billion, right? Like you can't even come close. So for DC to call that a success or even anything close to it, they're crazy. Like, they're just not doing it.
No,
So
I mean, I think, yeah, I think it was widely considered by many that it was a financial disappointment, you know, all things considered. But I saw the movie. I mean, I saw all the movies, you know, the Supermans and then the Justice League. It just wasn't it wasn't as captivating as the Marvel movies, just in my opinion.
Yeah, the other thing that's interesting with Henry Cavill is, and they call it. So who are we? Oh, Jared Leto. I was like, who are we talking about? That was a big pain in the ass on set when Jared Leto, when he, he's the blind guy, so they got to like lead him all over the place, and he's very into the character, and he does the whole method acting thing. So they're saying Henry
Yes.
Cavill has a lot, not the method acting, but he is 100% pure to the source. So if they come in and they're shooting Highlander, they're shooting Witcher, they're shooting these different movies, he wants everything to be completely accurate to the material without question. So they say he has this
Yeah.
like purity methodology where he has to be, and they say it increases the cost of the shoots. It increases lead time on the shooting because he asked for a bunch of reshoots, and I'm sorry, they didn't use that in 1945. So you have to go get X to make it more realistic. And they all bow down to this guy because he's the lead, he's the star. But they say another reason why they struggle with him is because he just drives the prices of this stuff just crazy with reshoots and everything else. So I always find that stuff interesting on what goes on behind the scenes.
I do too.
It's interesting to me.
Yeah. So in that, and staying on topic, I've heard the stories around Witcher, and that's why he departed Witcher, because he wanted to. And you know what? Good for him, because he was like, "Look, I think we stay closer, stick to the script, stay closer to the books rather than stray from the material in the book." And I think there was some conflict there, creative differences is what they said, but he did I think 3 or 4 seasons with Witcher, and then they switched to Hemsworth. I thought he was great. I think he's just
Who, Hemsworth? You thought the new shoot of
no,
Witcher was as good as the
no,
original?
no,
Yeah. No way.
no way. Yeah, I'll take Henry Cavill all day. He was just amazing in that role.
Yeah, and the chemistry between him and the other actors throughout The Witcher, I thought was just great. Thought it was great.
Yeah, you got that one clip
Yeah.
when he's just going to town.
Yeah, kicking ass. Yeah, I can play that. The other thing is
Yeah.
it's streaming, which goes back to willing to pay. Like, if you drop Witcher in the theaters, are people going to see it? Or is it going to lose money like Highlander is going to lose money? Or is it going to be one of those things where because it's streaming and he just dominates streaming, which I have another interesting fact about, don't let me forget, but I'll play this stream. I'll play this, The Witcher clip.
Okay.
All right. Coming at you. Is this the scene you were talking about?
I think so. I mean, he fights like 20 people.
Yeah, he's pretty badass.
Yes, this is it. This is it.
Where's Renfrey? She's at the tower with your little friend.
With your little friend.
She gave us a message to pass on to you. You have to choose the lesser evil.
It's an ultimatum. Get it? Fuck.
Yeah. He could be Superman. He could be Wolverine. He could be fighting Tom Cruise in a bathroom. Like, he's the same character in every movie. Dodge the arrow. Oh,
That is just
brutal.
badass.
On this map, like, let me show you the way. Let's go.
Dude, he's an awesome swordsman. Like, just incredible swordsman. I know it's all choreographed, but check this out, John.
Yeah.
Let me make this point here. And you know this, right? I admitted that I just started watching Game of Thrones. And for those, I'm like one of the only people on planet Earth that didn't watch it when it came out because I fell behind early and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to catch up and watch Thrones. I'm going to wait till season 8 is all complete so I could just binge watch. 13 years later, I started watching that. But this is where I'm going with this. His sword scene, fight scene, is like one of the best I've ever seen. And like I compared it to some of the, the Game of Thrones like battle scenes with the swords, and they're just like look, don't get me wrong, I love the series, but a little sloppy. I mean, he is just like precision, no wasted energy, and he's just like the kill shots are just awesome, man. Like the first one when he just stabbed him and then he ripped the blade through his body, I'm like, holy hell.
Yeah,
Like they
this
didn't
is
do that
real.
on Thrones. And
I love you so much right now.
Dude, I was totally man crushing on him.
You
in
were
that scene.
totally in love there for a minute. I can't even play that
Dude.
clip again. You might have to like take
You
a
know
break.
what's insane? I had no idea about The Witcher, right? And in my YouTube feed, it just said something sword fight, and I was like, oh well. I just came across that clip, and I was like, wow, that looks like freaking Henry Cavill. I'm like, wait a minute, how do I not know about this? And I watched, the scene. Can you imagine me watching that for the first time? I'm like, oh my god, I'm drooling. And then I discovered it was, a series called The Witcher. And I'm talking to Cam and I'm like, dude, watch this with me, right? And we started watching it and we talked about it we went to her mom's house and we talked about it and her dad was like, oh yeah, that was written by some Polish author back in the day. And I was like, how do you not know this, Cam? Because she's Polish. I'm like, how do you not know this? But yeah, huge Witcher fan. So
Yeah,
again,
he's badass.
when you decided, when you recommended this is the guy we talk about this week, I was very conflicted. I was
You've
like,
had a
"Man."
rough couple weeks, I gotta tell you. Like recognizing that Tom Holland isn't
Yeah.
making any money, and now recognize that Henry Cavill doesn't make any money. Like, I don't know what to do to you next week. Like, we're gonna have to take a break and do like a couple like future releases or
what?
something. Like, we got to give you a break.
Just out of when you first brought up that name, I was like, my initial reaction was like, I got to come up with another actor to kind of combat this, and I came up with Hilary Swank, and you're like, well, no one knows her. I'm like, well,
She's not really relevant.
maybe
anymore.
not.
Although, and I was laughing because I was like, man, I loved Peppermint, and I was like, oh, that was Jennifer Garner. Like, I get her and Jennifer Garner
Yes.
mixed up. Like all the
I
different.
do the same.
Like, wasn't
The
she
same.
married to Ben Affleck? Oh no, that was Jennifer Garner too.
Yes.
Although Hilary Swank
Yeah.
was in
So
The
I
Hunt.
think you hit it.
I love The Hunt. If you guys haven't watched The Hunt, go watch The Hunt. The Hunt is great. But she's in that. That's a little thing for her. The Hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not seen it, but I am a fan of Hilary Swank too, but I wouldn't mind doing an episode on her because I can prove she does an ROI as well. But anyway,
No, she doesn't.
getting back to your earlier point, I think you hit it on the head. Cavill, perceived star versus actual ROI star.
Yep.
And that's the dilemma. I mean, his strengths are massive fan following, strongest presence in DC, Witcher, global recognition. His biggest weakness, he hasn't proven himself as a solo box office hit. To your point earlier, high budget projects usually underperform. Um, his streaming success does not translate into a theatrical ROI. That's how I would summarize the Cavalmeister. But he is just all I watch. I will pay. See, I'm one of the guys that will pay to make sure that his career is lengthy, and I will support him, as a fan because I think he's great for cinema.
So let me give you a couple questions on that because I want to hear your opinion. I want to get your feedback. And as everybody knows, Mark and I usually differ on a lot of this stuff, which is why we have such an interesting show and such an interesting conversation. So Henry Cavill is extremely charismatic, right? Like there's no question. I think you've proven that in the last 10 minutes with everything that you've said and your reactions, right? Like he's just a
Yes,
likable
yes.
guy. He's extremely charismatic. He's good looking. Like he plays that gruff He-Man. Like he's all about the action hero star. And apparently he's huge in like social media. He does all the award shows. He shows up at all like the Vanity Fair galas and all that kind of stuff. So I think back to
Yeah,
like
he makes his rounds.
yeah, he has a huge appearance everywhere he goes, right? So I think back to the
Yeah.
celebrities and the stars of, 40s, 50s, 60s where they were celebrities and they were in movies. But I guess the question is if you look at his ROI and you look at his movies and we come back and we're going to say, okay, whatever. Argyle made no money. Ungentlemanly Warfare made no money. DC, Man from Uncle. You keep reading through. Like, I mean, we've proven his ROI is extremely low. I don't think he's had a movie that's broken a 2.0 return where 2.5 is the break even point. Maybe Mission Impossible because, but he wasn't the star. And then you go back and you say, but it's like a Kim Kardashian thing. Like, can you be a celebrity even though your movies continue to bomb? And is that forgiven? Like, can you come back and say you have this huge social media presence? You're going to be a social media
Yeah.
star. But I got to say, like, if you go to Chuck Norris and you go back to the 70s and the 80s and you have a celebrity before social media existed and you got 5 bombs in a row, is anybody going to cast you in a movie when you have no streaming, you have no social media, you're just bombing the box office, you're out. So I got to look at this
Yeah.
and be like, in 2026, it's okay to have bombs because you're good in streaming and you have a huge social media following. So I'm not sure what my question is in there other than like, is that acceptable and is that okay that your movies continue to bomb, but you have all this other stuff going for you? And does box office just not matter anymore? I guess that's my question.
I think we touched on this in the past. Back in the 90s to the early 2000s, I mean, actually, for a long time, the amount of movies produced in a given year seemed like a lot. That number averaged around 500 a year. So think about that. 500 movies, feature films that were released theatrically in a given year. Today, right, it's like you have so many different platforms and then streaming, the age of streaming that 2010, 2011, when streaming just really, took over. The amount of movies, I mean, if you include streaming and theatrical releases, is in the thousands. So I think it's just so overly saturated that you can have bomb after bomb, but no one gives a shit. They just lock and reload and Henry, go out there, right? Here's another one. I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but I think the significance of a bomb has been watered down by a lot in over the last 20 years.
And I agree with you. And I think the streaming zombie component that we had talked about previously, I don't know if you can ever really truly record a loss because they could take Ungentlemanly Warfare, which we know didn't do well, stick it on Netflix or Prime, sell it to Netflix or Prime. They get paid to send them the content, let that thing stream for a year. And if it takes them a year to make their money
Yeah.
back, who cares? Right? Because you're
So
getting your
be
money
it,
back.
right? Yeah, exactly.
So there's no longer that limitation of IP or limitation of profit or intellectual property because this stuff just lives forever. The streaming zombie is a
You know what? I'll give you.
real thing.
You just remind me of something. Um, I forget his name, but do you remember the series Smallville?
Yeah, yeah. You want the
Do you
actor
remember
who
the guy who
played-
played Superman? Yeah, Tom something began with a W. Tom whatever.
I was just looking at this before. Smallville. Tom
So
Welling.
he recently
Yeah, Tom
Tom
Welling.
Welling, yes.
Yeah.
So this happened recently, like within the last 3 to 6 months. He had there was a social media post that had him today, and there was like a backstory that, hey, this was the guy that played Superman Smallville, because a lot of people just weren't aware. It got there was so much buzz around it that Smallville, because it was still being, it was still a series that was being aired on, when I forget if it was Netflix or Hulu or whatever. They generated so much buzz just from that one clip, that IG clip, that Smallville jumped in rankings in terms of, highest streaming videos just from social media. So when you say, sometimes it just never dies, and it could be something that triggers that kind of that effect where, oh my God, it's hot again. And that
Yeah.
was one of Smallville. I mean, I don't 15 years ago? I don't even remember now, but it was a while ago when Smallville came out.
2001 to 2011.
Yeah.
So it's been 15
Yeah.
years since that thing's been out.
Yeah.
Yeah, social media is a crazy
The
thing.
power of streaming.
Yeah, very forgiving.
And the
These
power of
stars better
streaming.
love it.
Yeah.
So very interesting stuff. So,
So,
I'll play another
Yeah, so
clip.
I think the fear fact, right? I think like my quick point, the fear
Yeah.
factor I think is gone. You're not afraid to take risk, because if it bombs, so what? There's
Yeah.
going to be another studio that'll take the chance, and maybe they're saying, "You know what? We'll go right to streaming. We don't give a shit. We don't have to do a ton of promotion. We have a captive audience."
Yeah, I agree. I think studios are willing to take a lot more risks, which kind of goes back to, I was thinking about this the other day. There's two things. One is, Jason Bloom at Bloomhouse, and we talked about this a little bit. He's trying to come up with $1 million micro budget. He's going to give filmmakers $1 million, and he's going to say, go make a
I think
movie.
brilliant.
Brilliant. And
Yeah,
he's going to say,
brilliant.
you got $1
Absolutely
million
brilliant.
budget. You got these like renegade, guerrilla warfare, or guerrilla shooting, whatever it's called, filmmakers who are going to go out. If he makes 10 million back on $1 million film, he's killing it, right? So you give 10 guys $1 million bucks, you make 5, 6, 7 million on 10 guys that you're taking a risk. You develop some upcoming filmmakers, and you just made yourself 70, 80 million with so little risk. Genius. Just absolute genius.
Yeah. It is absolutely genius. I don't know if you had a chance to watch that one movie we talked about. It might have been 2 weeks ago now, the that horror flick from Canada, Undertone.
I know what it is. I watched the trailer with you, but I haven't watched the movie.
I haven't watched the movie either, but I could almost guarantee. Well, actually, we did talk about it. Their budget was 500,000,
Yeah. Crazy, right?
and it's it's going to make money. I mean, I think it's in like 2,200 theaters in the U.S.
You don't think if
and it's
somebody
gonna make
gave me and
Canadian
you $1
film.
million bucks, we could go out and make something that could get released in a film festival and at least do something? Like, I don't know.
I think we
looked
could
at that
get
movie-
creative enough to make it.
Yeah. Like, look at that fight scene. That fight
Yeah.
scene with Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris is historical, right? Like, it's one of those things you put in
Right.
the Smithsonian as one of the two greatest fighters fighting in this thing for 6 minutes. How much do you think it cost them to make that scene? The film probably cost the most part of that scene, right? Because they had to shoot everything on film back then, and then develop the film and
Oh
everything
yeah,
else.
film
Edit
stock.
the
Yeah.
film. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was probably the most expensive part of that whole shoot. 6 minutes of iconic film history, right?
The film stock and all the sandwiches you needed to order to feed them.
Yeah.
The crew.
Didn't even shave. Didn't even, nair his
Yeah.
body before he went in there. He just didn't give an F, right? He just was like, I'm doing it. Bruce all clean shaven
Right.
with his Asian glistening body. Trying to take you back to your Henry
Yeah.
Cavill excitement. Just make you think about that. All
I
right.
don't know
So,
who
do you want to
gets me more
see?
like fired up.
I'll get you fired up. I'm going to play either the opening boat scene or the bathroom fight scene. Which one do you want?
You got to go with the fight scene. Everybody loves that. I
The
mean,
bathroom fight scene. Okay.
yeah, that was good.
Hold on, I got to rewind it because I was watching it earlier. I do love it. It's a little long, so I may jump around a little bit in it. He's like James Bond, dude. Like, he could easily be a Bond option.
I mean, he is what?
Pretty suave, right?
He's British, right? Like,
Yeah.
Geez. Can he play James Bond though?
That's how you take care of business, Tom.
Where's the needle? Didn't need it. Get him up.
He was an ass kicker, that little guy. This is when Cavo loads up his arm. Watch, he's gonna get up and
Yeah.
off and pump his ass. Oh, shit. Very good. Fuck pump. Oh, break it. I love her. What's her name? Rebecca Ferguson. Love her. She's great.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. You got your bathroom fight scene. Henry Cavill being all badass, running around. Although I think he got his ass kicked in that. But
Yeah. Can I see him as a Bond? That's hard because I mean, look at the, all the actors that played Bond. I mean, they were just so polished. I mean, like I'm not saying he's not. I think he's too rough and macho to play Bond, to take him seriously. Right? Like he's
Daniel Craig, I guess. Daniel Craig's a little more polished, a little more finesse.
Yeah.
Sean Connery's pretty good.
Pierce, again,
Oh,
refined, right?
Remington Steele, he's a terrible Bond. Hated him as Bond.
Well, he might have been a terrible Bond, but I mean, he's
very
fit
polished.
the Bond profile. Like he wasn't, he didn't have like an intense workout, right? He was just like, an average size looking dude. I mean, Henry Cavill's he's jacked up, man.
He didn't take his
And
shirt off.
That's the
and
one
then-
thing
yeah.
that, yeah.
Remington
But
Steele
that's the
did
one
not take
thing
his shirt
about
off
him.
before he got in a fight. That's take his jacket off. He kept his
No.
jacket off.
He did not. And another reason why I like Cavill so much is like, what his and he said this, he says this a number of times. You know what his favorite movie of all time is? It happens to be mine too. And you should know this.
Wizard of Oz. I have no idea.
Wow, close. Gladiator. His favorite movie is Gladiator. You know who his favorite actor is?
Russell Crowe.
Come on now.
Russell Crowe. I don't know.
Yes.
All right.
Yes,
my
no,
signal.
it's Russell Crowe.
On My Signal, Unleash Hell. It's one of the greatest lines of any
Yes.
movie. That opening scene of
Yeah.
Gladiator, where he's riding the
Dude,
horse, he's got
right?
the dog following him, and they start
The
launching
dog? Yeah.
launching those fireballs into
Yeah.
the Nordic barbarians or whatever they are. Love it. Absolutely love it. I saw that in the
Yeah,
that's another theater 3 times in one day. I saw Gladiator in the theater 3
I
times.
believe it.
Yeah,
I
loved it.
believe it.
Was
Yeah.
blown away.
Masterpiece.
Yeah.
The interesting connection between those two, and this story is out there, but back in 2000, Cavill was working as as an extra in the Proof of Life movie, and then he actually went up to Russell Crowe for advice about acting, because he was like, "Hey, I want to be an actor," and he asked for him for advice. And a few days after the conversation, he received a box of gifts from Russell Crowe that included a signed picture of him, like in Gladiator, with the words, I think it was like, "Dear Henry, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step," some shit like that.
Right.
And then, this was 2000. 13 years later, they met again at the gym where he was working out in preparation to play Superman in Man of Steel. And he was like, and then he recognized him. Can you imagine that, though? How cool is that? That's such a cool story.
And you know what else is cool? The 2 of them are gonna be in the new Highlander together. Like, Russell Crowe's in that as well. So that's pretty cool that,
Oh, I didn't know Russell. Yeah,
25 years later, they're gonna be shooting together.
that is awesome.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
But you mentioned the Highlander. But he's also in and you also mentioned In the Gray
Yeah.
coming out this year. But dude, he's also doing Voltron in 27.
Yeah, I saw that. That's good. I'll
I
go
don't
see
know.
that.
Yeah, so that one's going to be interesting. Like, well, so Voltron, it's I don't want to call it a franchise, but it's intellectual property. I mean, it's got a huge following, ton of fans, and I mean, I owned a Voltron toy as well growing up, so I'm gonna watch it because I was always into Voltron, but it's gonna be interesting how this one plays out because I don't know who else is gonna be starring in it, but it's Voltron, man. Like, that's a pretty big deal, for all the Voltron fans out there. There's got to be a ton. It's kind of like what was the other one that was
He-Man? That bomb?
similar to Voltron?
He-Man?
Well, no, there was another one I can't think of. Damn it.
So
Power
I'll give you
Rangers.
another-
It kind of
Yeah, Power Rangers. The other one was Battle of the Planets. I wish they would make a Battle of the Planets movie. I freaking love that thing. They were like the birds. Loved it. Sterling K. Brown
Battle
is
of the Planets.
slated to play with Henry Cavill in Voltron, which will be. I love Sterling K. Brown.
Okay.
I'll go watch it, or I'll wait till it comes on Netflix or something because I'm not really willing to pay for Henry Cavill. It's one of those things where I'll watch him on streaming. His WTP factor is very low with me.
Yeah, see, I'm willing to pay. I'm the other half. And then he's got that Warhammer series that he's still working on.
Hold on, I think I have something. Hold
I
on.
think he's a producer in that.
Hold
yeah.
Oh no, that's the wrong
Always good
clip.
food,
Damn
always
it.
good value.
I used to have a Thor. Where's my hammer? I used to have a Thor clip for Where's My Hammer, but I put Nev Campbell.
Was that my Nev Campbell? Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, always good food.
Keep picking on Nev Campbell.
Oh, let's see what else I got. No, it's not. Let me see what else. I recorded over a bunch of stuff. I'm all confused.
Yeah, it's pronounced Julie. Really.
All right, I got to put my Thor hammer clip
Terrible.
back just for you. Come on, don't bust on Ben. Ben's had a rough life. All right, so let's talk about one more thing, and then we'll we're at an hour. Crazy.
Are we really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So in the
I think
gray
we spent too much time on.
on Chuck.
Okay.
Too much time on Chuck.
Yeah. Maybe.
Maybe I don't know, but I'm gonna go get a buckle. I'll tell you that. I'm gonna look that up. I'll tell you a funny story real quick because I love to tell stories, and then we'll go into the next part.
Okay. Is this buckle
So-
related?
It's kind of buckle related. So, Book of Eli, one of my favorite movies of all time. Like Denzel,
Really?
I love.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman, like loved Book of Eli.
He's
I
awesome,
probably
too.
watched that thing 100 times. So, Denzel's sunglasses in Book of Eli are some of the coolest sunglasses that you will ever find. So Bradley Cooper in The Hangover, his sunglasses from The Hangover are custom. They're Ray-Bans, but he switched the lens, he adjusted the nose, like that's custom for that. So you can't go buy Bradley Cooper Hangover sunglasses. So I'm watching this movie and I'm like,
Okay.
man, I bet you those are custom for Denzel. They have to be, but they're not. So they're like
Mhm.
a Oakley something something something. So right after Book of Eli came out, I did all this research. It took me like 2 days online until I finally found the exact lens, model, everything that Denzel had. I still have the sunglasses. So I went out, I ordered them. I had to like special order these sunglasses. So I wore these sunglasses for like 5 years. I loved them. I used to tell my daughter growing up, I said, I got 3 favorite things in this order: my sunglasses, you and your mom, and like whatever number 3 was. But every time we would talk about something, I would always put the sunglasses number 1. I still have them on the shelf. They're like my prize thing. So now I'm gonna get Devin, if you're listening, I love you more than the sunglasses. I was only kidding all those years, so don't have trauma. The now I'm gonna go and I'm gonna look up the buckle because now I'm gonna obsess on that buckle. So I'm gonna find the buckle that Chuck Norris wore in Silent Rage until I can find somebody who
In
knows that buckle.
Silent Rage from 1978 or
Somebody
whenever that
somewhere
was
online
released.
knows that buckle, and I'm gonna find that buckle. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna wear that buckle into work, and I'm gonna say, "This is the Chuck Norris Silent Rage buckle." So if you haven't seen it, go watch the clip for Silent Rage again. I'm not gonna play it again, or just rewatch the show. Check out the buckle. Yep, that's it. That's my
I
story.
hope you do this. Like, I hope you actually follow through and actually succeed in getting this buckle from 78.
Yeah, 100%. Dude, I'll bring the sunglasses into work. I'll
Okay.
show them to you. They're the Denzel Book of Eli sunglasses, and you're gonna watch Book of Eli. You're like, holy shit! Now for the next 2 days, it gives me something to do. I don't have a lot
I
going on in my life. Like
okay.
I need little things like that.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you. Book of Eli, I started watching it. I couldn't get into it, and I never went back to go finish it.
Yeah.
I don't know, just something about that movie was just it just didn't connect with me.
You know what it was? No
Happens,
big,
man.
good-looking
Happens.
guys running around in like a tight white
I mean,
T-shirt,
Denzel's a good-looking dude.
but he's
Yeah.
got these big giant overcoats and stuff on the whole time. I bet you throw Glenn Powell in that role in the desert, sweating in the sun. You're all over that movie.
That's
You watch that thing 3 times.
that's my dude. That's my dude too.
Ay, ay, ay.
All right, so we're past the hour mark. Is there a clip that we neglected to air?
Yeah, so
And
In the Gray, we gotta talk about In the Gray, and then we'll show the clip, and then we'll move on, and
dude,
we'll
we
get
got
out.
to talk about
In the Gray is a
yeah, we
great
got to talk
story.
about In the Gray.
So In the Gray
I
is Henry
haven't seen
Cavill's.
I haven't seen any clips.
All right, I'll show you the
Okay.
clip. The clip, it's trailer madness. Because like everything I read about the movie is like this thing is a rough cut, and I'll go through studios dumped it, like the whole deal. And you watch the trailer, you're like, holy crap, I'm watching this movie. So whoever did the trailer on this, kudos, man. Like you're a genius because I hear this movie is terrible and it's
Yeah.
like just chopped up. But after watching that trailer, I'm gonna go watch the movie. Plus, it's Guy Ritchie, and I love Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, that's the next award. You called the first one. That's the next one.
Yeah, it has to, right?
Best
You gotta-
trailer award goes to. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you. Goes to
All right,
Lucas.
let's see.
I don't know. So the deal with In the Gray is they started shooting this movie. Henry Cavill, Guy Ritchie, Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal's busting it out with his Roadhouse thing. He's gotten all the success. Henry Cavill's coming out of Witcher and Superman and everything else, Justice League. So he's got a lot of success. So Guy Ritchie's like, boom, we're going to go make this movie. Now, the crazy part with Guy Ritchie is in the last year when this was being made, he did 3 movies and 2 TV shows in a 12-month time period. So he's fried pumping
Wow.
all this stuff out, right? So Lionsgate comes out. It's a Lionsgate movie. And they say, look, Guy, you're spent. You're ruining our movie. So they drop the movie. They're like, we don't want it. After it's shot, they wrap up filming. Lionsgate looks at it and says, we don't want it. So they put it on the shelf. They pull the film. After a year of sitting on the shelf with Cavill, Gyllenhaal, the whole deal, Guy Ritchie comes back and says, you know what? Screw this. They gave me the movie back. They said they didn't want it. I'm going to release it on my own. So it's getting released in May. It's had no promotion. It's a Guy Ritchie film with Henry Cavill. So now you got Henry Cavill coming off like multiple movie losses because there's no marketing on this thing, regardless of how good it is, it's going to be another loss. It will make up money in streaming, I'm guessing, because it's got Guy Ritchie and everybody else. And you got Gyllenhaal now who comes off his streaming success of Roadhouse, but he just bombed in The Bride. Now he's going to hit his second bomb in a row. Like, what is going on in Hollywood? Like, this movie is dragging multiple people down. And Guy Ritchie's sitting back saying, guys, I just pumped out 3 movies and 2 TV shows. Like, I'm doing just fine. So it's a really cool story around this movie. And when you watch the clip, you're going to be like, that's pretty freaking good. Guy Ritchie. So that's my story. Interesting, right?
That's incredible. And then, like, why don't they just go straight to streaming? Like, forget that theatrical release. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
I
Take
don't
it to
know.
streaming. Let this thing, stream for 9 million hours and, they get their money back and they're happy. But it's like $100 million film. Like, I had this before. Let me see if I can find it real quick. 70 million. $70 million film that Lionsgate funded for Guy Ritchie and basically said, screw
That's
it. We
incredible.
don't like it. Put it on the shelf. Take
Wow.
it back. They gave it back. So, all right, here we go. Watch the trailer.
That's
You're going to
bad.
enjoy it.
I mean, that's just all
How
right. All
bad
right.
does your
Let's go.
movie have to be for them to throw 70 million bucks away?
And say, you know what? Let's call it a loss before we even release it.
Yeah. Take it back.
Call Gary into my office. There is a situation here.
I assure you you'd like to listen. The alternative is very expensive.
Gary! Get them out of my office now.
Gary, a moment. There are 2 versions of how this narrative plays out.
Exhibit A.
Gary waits patiently and quietly by the door.
Exhibit B.
Gary steps forward and you spend the next 6 hours sponging him off the walls. I know which version Gary would prefer. Gary.
Manny Salazar. He's not really the guy you loan $1 billion and expect to see it back.
You think you can recover it?
You know I can. And this job, when mistakes are made, you need insurance. Kids, don't say a word. Follow me.
That could be like the Game of Thrones.
Bronco and Sid
Is it?
will now
Her?
solve it their way.
The shirt.
It's silk.
Of course it is.
Wilding or whatever they're called.
I just told you. It's silk.
No shit.
This is Salazar's island. The police are on payroll, and he has a reasonably experienced private army. Tick every box.
Tick every tuck.
Lube every wheel.
Lick every stamp.
3, 2, 1.
Range. 300. Weight 275.
Make your mind up.
250. Ram it, Janet.
They work between the moral and the immoral. The black and the white. They operate in the gray.
Show me what you got.
I foresee a problem. I am aware that there is a 300-foot deep untraversable ravine, but if you give yourself enough runway, build up some speed, and flap your arms like so,
it should take the bump out of the landing.
It's got Guy Ritchie written all over it, though,
Yeah.
right? Like that's his trademark.
Yeah. And
It
short
looks
of that,
interesting. I mean, I would watch it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you'd watch it, right?
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if I would pay for it though, John. Would
Well,
you
we
pay
bet.
to watch this movie or?
No, I wouldn't. I'd wait for streaming.
Yeah. See, now you sound like the studios.
Yeah, but
Give
to
it
your
back.
point,
No.
to your point, you spent 70 million bucks on this thing. Like, just go
I know. Just
sell it to Netflix, sell it to Prime. It's going to get some sort of
Yeah.
following because of the stars. Just give it a shot.
Yeah. And if you're telling me you spent 70 million, did you really spend 70 million to just give it back and let it sit on the shelf? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
According to Gemini, they did. So the other thing is, and this is a topic I wanted
Yeah.
to talk about tonight, which we're debating whether we make it a topic, which goes back to streaming. One of the facts that I found this week that I thought was super interesting is the top 3 the top 3 money makers in movies in 2025 were Adam Sandler, Mark Wahlberg, and Tom Cruise. The only actor who had any kind of theatrical release in 2025 out of those 3 was Tom Cruise. Mark
Yeah,
Wahlberg or
that's
Adam Sandler,
insane.
I forget which, had 3 weeks of movie release because they wanted some movie they did to be eligible for an award. Everything else they did was
Yep.
streaming. They're the top 3. So, I don't know. I don't think box office means that much anymore.
No, it doesn't. I think they've proven it pretty effectively over the last. I mean, you got to go back to 2015 ish. I mean, so we're talking 10 years already into the streaming. You know, streaming
Yeah.
started in 2010, 2011 timeframe, right? So we're a good 15 years in. So
Yeah, and
I
to
don't
your
know. I
point
mean,
you made before, COVID just blew it up, right? Like, COVID gave all these guys careers because people couldn't go out. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, to me, I'm still gonna watch. You know, I'll pay my whatever. I'll buy a ticket and I'll pay for an $8 hot dog, and I'll still continue to watch movies at a theater. But I'm just as happy and I'm just as satisfied watching it at home and streaming. So it doesn't bother me.
yeah, and I like movies over and over again, like, no exaggeration. I've seen The Martian at least 100 times. Like, so if I can sit and watch In the Gray, and I love Snatch, I love Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, I love Guy Ritchie. So if I can, In the Gray
Yeah.
turns out to be pretty good, and I could sit at home and watch it 3, 4 times, I'll do that. To your point, I'm not spending $20 for a ticket, another $20 for popcorn and a soda, another $8 for a hot dog. Like, I'm $50 in every time I go see a movie. Like, I'm just not doing it. But I'll watch it at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah, no doubt. One last factoid about and I meant to bring this up earlier with Cavill is when he attended I guess I don't know if this was grade school or high school, but the Stowe School in England, he was bullied for being chubby. So his
Mm.
his nickname was Fat Cavill. I am
He's
not
like the
making this
kid in,
up. This is something.
what's the show, the TV show, like the girl, like, I wanna say The Girl Next Door, but it's not, where the what's her face is the roommate, and the one guy was fat, and then he lost weight, and he gets all the women. You wouldn't watch that. It's too cutesy for you.
I probably wouldn't. But can you imagine being that douchebag that was bullying Henry at school because he was a little chubby? And now he's playing Man of Steel. He played Superman and Witcher, and you're probably like, and these idiots are probably all fat and out of shape, and
Yeah, they're fat
losing
wide.
hair. I don't know. Yeah.
Here, let's see if we can stop it. Here.
Now we're talking. Oh, yeah. That's the whole goddamn package right there.
Why is it not coming up? I wanna pause it where he's got his big muscles out. There it goes.
Now we're talking.
There he is.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
Fat Henry.
That's the whole goddamn package right there.
How you looking now in
You
your
look a
white
little bit
t-shirt?
like Henry. Oh my fuck!
Right.
The Cavalrine. The legends are true.
Let's
And
get
may
him
I
to
say,
turn on.
sir,
Pause it.
on behalf of all humanity, this just feels right. We will treat you so much better than those shit fucks down the street.
You were just leaving.
No, sir. Not while the fate.
There he is. Look at that body. Try and control yourself. He's coming in. He's pumping his arms like he did in Mission Impossible. He's getting the guns out. That's just for you, buddy.
Yeah.
I was thinking of you.
Yep.
Fat Henry.
Guy's a stud, man.
You can't even say
Fat
that.
Cavill was his
Fat
nickname.
Cavill.
Dude.
You
I
can't say
mean,
that.
you can try. Yeah.
No, you can't call kids fat anymore.
All right, so no, you're right. You can't call him. You can't call him fat. One last thing before we go, we got to rate him on the right
Benometer, the Mendoza line.
line. Yeah.
I'm not willing to pay. He's pretty charismatic. He has good chemistry. He doesn't make money. That's what's that? That's 2 out of 4.
Yeah, and you said his range is not there.
No, he has no range. He's like we talked about at the beginning. He's an action lane guy. But in that same
Yeah.
line, like,
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger made a career out of it, made tons of dough. Stallone, tons of dough.
Yeah.
Staying in your lane, no range.
Yeah. I mean, what's the other guy? The train spotter. I can never remember his name.
Ewan McGregor.
No, not train spotter.
Jared Leto.
He was an Olympic swimmer. What's his name?
Michael Phelps.
No.
Johnny Weissmuller.
Turned actor.
Tarzan.
He was also in Fast and Furious. Why can't I
Diesel.
remember? He was in the
Ja Rule.
No, the
Paul Walker.
Beekeeper.
Or Jason Statham. Jason Statham. Yeah.
Jason Statham.
Transporter, not train spotter.
Did I say trans? Cam is that she refers to that Statham as her boyfriend. So, but yeah, he stays in his lane. He writes and produces the same genre. I mean, he milks it, but he makes money, dude.
Yeah.
He makes money. So that's the difference.
Yeah, Crank. I think it's Crank. One of my favorite movies. I freaking love that stupid thing.
Mhm.
Jason.
Oh, when he had to
His heart
in
would
order
stop.
to survive, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I
He had
love
to
that
survive on adrenaline. Yeah. All right. So you would
So
put him
take
at
guess, just to go crazy for a second. Take a guess at Jason Statham's net worth. I love this guy.
140.
Cam, you should have went for
140.
Jason. Close.
Dude, she settled. She settled, dude. What are you gonna say? I mean, what can you do?
She threw $110 million away. That's what she did. 110.
I said
You said
one. I guess
140.
140. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
110. Crazy.
He's probably
right?
already there with that. Yeah, dude. He's genius, right? I mean, it's the same. It's
Yeah,
the
same
same
movie.
film, basically.
I can't even tell which one I'm
the
watching
last one.
sometimes. Right? Like you're watching the movie, you're like, which one is this? Because they're
Yes.
all the same. Is this
Yes.
Working Man or is this The Beekeeper? Like they're the same movie.
Yes. And then there's another one that just came out, which we watched. I don't even remember it, but it just was like, man, this is The Beekeeper all over again. But they're enjoyable to watch, and I'm gonna watch the next Beekeeper or whatever he puts out. All right, so you're giving him a what? A 2, a 3?
Oh no, that's way generous. I'm stuck on these ones. Like I don't know that he's any more than a 1.
Dude,
Like he's just another Chris Hemsworth.
feel
He's
like
just another Tom Holland.
Dude, our scale has to be recalibrated.
A 2? Kristen Stewart?
We should have adjusted the scale from instead of a 1 to 10, it should have been a 1 to 5.
No, then
Because
you have more ones.
look at all that. Huh?
Then you would have even more, like less than 1s, I guess. If it was like, is he a Channing Tatum? Is he a -1? Because he's got no range, but you love him. so-
No. I mean, in terms of our ROI, I mean, he doesn't even rate. But in terms of acting, he's a guy that kind of just really he stays in that lane. But he does it. He stays in that lane, but he does I think his portrayal of the character is so good and so spot on that his lane is just it's pretty pristine, and his ability to carry, that role. I think I would give him at least. Have we given anyone a 3?
No. So you got Jared
No.
Leto as the 5, and then you got Brad as the 10. So the highest rank that we've given anybody so far was Jared Leto at a 5. Then you got J-Lo and Nev, Hemsworth and Holland all at a 1. You got Nev at a 2. Ben is the 0. Maybe he's a 0. Like, is he equal? I don't know. He might be equal to Ben, but I guess he's got to be better than Nev Campbell and J-Lo, right? Because they just stink. They have no charisma.
What's
They have no
his net worth?
charisma.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What is
Maybe
what is
I'll give you a
Cavill's net
2 or
worth?
3. All right, hold on. Let's look.
Not that this matters, but it does. This is where we get shallow about this stuff.
50 million. Oh, because he had a bunch of
Yeah.
back end on Man of Steel, and he got $1 million an episode for The Witcher.
There you go.
Justice League.
He's gonna invest his
20
dollars.
20 million for Justice League.
That's the going rate, though. 20 million. See, look, remember when you said Neve Campbell didn't deserve that money? I'm going to go back to this because I kind of took it personally for her.
Yeah.
With all her Scream movies. She ROIs more than this guy.
Yeah, she does. You're 100% right.
And you didn't want to give her 20 million for her Scream
No.
6, 7, or whatever they were up
No.
to.
Which had a huge opening weekend, and then just as we predicted, dropped off. So after that opening weekend, it didn't do a whole lot. All right, maybe a 2 or 3, because he does.
I would
stay in
say
his
I would
lane.
be comfortable with.
2?
Right?
Yeah, he stays in his lane. He does
Yeah.
his thing. Give him a 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Charismatic.
I would agree with that.
You know, he doesn't try to outdo himself. He doesn't go crazy. All right. All right, Henry Cavill.
But just like
Movie
Hemsworth.
Killers Podcast is
Yeah.
giving you a 2. Sleep well.
Yeah, but just like Hemsworth, man, we love you, and we'll go out with you. We'll gladly hang out with you at a bar or wherever you want to go, dude. We'll hang.
Yeah, give us a call.
I'll carry your suit for you too. Your super suit. Shit.
I don't know if you'll be able to handle it. Like, I'd be like, Mark, just be cool. Just be cool, Mark. You're embarrassing me. So ridiculous. None of these guys are calling us. Nobody's calling us. I'm gonna sit home on a Friday night.
Dude, you never know. You never know, man. You never know.
All right.
One of these days.
One of these days. You know who I wish would call? Here, I'll show you real quick. This is the guy I wish would call. He's never calling me either. You ready?
You're gonna say Ben. Oh my God.
This is the guy I want to go out with. But I want him to go out like this. You know, he's got like a 19-year-old girlfriend. Did you know that? Look it up. He's like 50 something. He's got a 19-year-old girl.
No, he's not. Is he really in his 50s? Oh yeah, you're right. I mean, he's part of that original Brat Pack with Leonardo and all those guys, right?
Yeah. Toby Maguire. Get on up. 20, I'm sorry. She just had a birthday. Mishka Silva.
That is terrible.
Look her up. Toby ain't taking us out either. Even that is too cool for us. That's where we're at. Toby's hanging out with Mishka.
Dude, if Toby was like, "Hey guys," if Toby was like, "Hey guys, you wanna hang out?" I'd be like, "Dude, pass." Like, you could take Johnny out, but Mark's staying home.
I'd be like,
Mark will
"Dude,
stay
you gotta
home
wear
and
the
watch
black
that Witcher
suit."
scene.
Yeah, you got to wear the black suit, and we got to dance, buddy, with Mishka. All right.
God
Are
bless.
you done? Are you done?
I think that was a good episode. I think
Yeah, I
we
think that was
covered a
great.
lot of territory there.
We
I
really
mean,
did.
Chuck, Cavill,
Mishka.
man. I think we touched on a lot. Yeah, and Mishka now. Shit.
Yeah. And the Gray, Guy Ritchie. Man, what else could we go? And for the record, we are giving Henry Cavill a 2 on the Mendoza line. I got more compliments on the Mendoza line the other night on the wit and the
Good.
together. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, that's a tough line, man. That, I mean, when you factor all the different parameters and you come up with this score doesn't lie because the ROI doesn't lie.
Yeah. Yep. That's why we got to get on the Netflix podcast. I got to figure. You got to work on that. Get us on Netflix podcast.
Okay.
Dude, we got
I
no
don't know what
press
has to be done,
credentials.
but
We got no press credentials. We got no.
I know. Yeah.
Slacking.
Yeah. I mean, we're only 3 months into this, so I mean, it's at some point it's going to turn.
Yeah.
Always
gonna
does,
spend a little
right?
time
It
on
always. Yeah. All right. Sounds
Arms
good.
fall asleep. Hopefully, it's not a stroke. And this will just be the Mark show.
All right. Let's
I'm
do
glad
the
you find this
outro
so
and
humorous.
shut her down.
All right, you ready? Here we go, buddy. And with the tingling arm and the chest compression, We are wrapping up this show. Yeah, I couldn't handle a 20-year-old birthday. Crazy. All right, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. We're going to wrap this up Thursday, as usual, with Night with us. This will be live on all the media platforms starting tomorrow night. Spotify, Apple Music, you can watch the video with all the clips on YouTube. YouTube and Spotify, you can watch the videos. Join us at mkcast.com for the E-Man bet that's still out there. Got a couple more of those. Feeling pretty good about that. We're coming out in June. Big bomb. And for our one big listener who was on Facebook tonight and throwing some comments out there, I appreciate you tuning in and paying attention. And, you know, when you're ready, I'll represent the hat. So just we'll go from there. So thanks, everybody. Have a great, great night.
See you, everyone.